Wednesday walkabout, I want to kind of convey to you some of the things that I finally decided to do in the potager. So I'm looking, and here's my question of the day. For those of you who really experienced a harsh winter last year, like we had the Arctic blast, or really any kind of major weather event, do you still feel like you're in recovery mode? And if so, kind of tell me where you are, what zone you are, and what you're recovering from. Because I think that's helpful to all of us to feel a little bit better about the damage that we're having to recover from in our own gardens. And so this year, I'm kind of doing outdoor fall decorating and all of the accoutrement that goes with fall, the mums, the pumpkins. I'm going to do that a little bit lighter this year than I normally do, because I think there's just so much reconstructive work that has to go on this fall. And it's, to me, if I overlaid a bunch of tons of pumpkins and mums and things like that, it would kind of feel like decorating a dirty house. So I'm not going to do a ton of that. Most of my fall decor is going to be relocated to the porch and areas right outside my house. But I did want to give you kind of what my long-term thoughts are for the potager, because you guys have kind of been through me as I've been agonizing about what to do. So number one, the bench in the back is going to be replaced, and I'm going to kind of do pineapple upside down with my garden benches, and I'll let you know how that unfolds. There is a garden bench right now that is being put together as we speak, and I'll do a reveal on that a little bit later. But back in here, there's still a lot of dead wood and some things that need to let's just say need to be addressed back there, and I have somebody that's going to help me because some of it's going to be kind of heavy work. So in the potager itself, here's another question I have for you that I posed on Instagram yesterday. Yesterday was extremely windy, and when it came in, it blew in all sorts of stuff, both good guys and bad guys. So on Channel 4, the station that I do a weekly segment on, or I'm starting again to do a weekly segment on, they were talking about how on these great breezes that came through, that the monarchs and everything were riding this wave as they migrate south. Sadly, the other thing that also migrated with them, I think, and a lot of you have commented to me on this, and I want to know if you haven't told me if it's happening in your neck of the woods, overnight there was a huge whitefly infestation. Prior to that, I've been commenting that we didn't have a lot of whiteflies. Then yesterday morning, I came out to water, and all of a sudden, there was just whitefly everywhere. You can see a little bit. They're not as bad as they were yesterday. I wondered if it was just my garden, but no, it wasn't, because Carrie, my friend down the street, said she noticed the same thing. And I'm hoping that since they don't seem as bad this morning, that a lot of them just rode the wave, and hopefully they're not moving into Texas and into your gardens. But that's something that I'll keep an eye on. No, I have not done anything to tackle them yet. When I do, I might put out some yellow sticky trap spray with some neem oil or insecticidal soap. I'm going to kind of wait to see if the infestation is here to stay or if it's going to move on out. This is a phenomenon I have never experienced before in my garden. So if you did too, please let me know. So here's what I have finally decided about the boxwood hedge in the potager. I'm going to remove these sections that surround the circle. I'm going to remove these sections. So basically, I will still have the outside perimeter of green, and it will be there to frame everything, and I'll still have the strong central circle. And then actually the area that will be exposed once these sections are removed will be pointing towards the center, so you won't even see them. And then any of the circles foliage that may be brown or sparse because it's been covered up and shaded out by these sections of the box, those will come back next spring. And speaking of next spring, I'm going to really do late winter, and I'm going to do a really hard prune on this because its girth and its size has just gotten way too large. So I'm going to do a really hard prune on this. It may take a while for it to recover, but definitely for it to recapture the form that it had that I liked the best from years ago, the size and the form. I'm going to cut this back. So that's what I've decided to do. It's a little bit risky, but nevertheless, I'm happy to see what it will look like once it gets finished. I may or may not. Normally this time of year I'm starting to plant lettuces and all sorts of things in here. And this year I may or I may not. I may again just let this lie fallow, add lots of compost to it, fix some of the brickwork that needs to be repaired, and just do a lot of restorative work on this. So next year it will, like I say, it will just be reinvented in a newer, fresher way. I'm also going to be doing some things along the expanse of this flower bed. The weather was weird this year, but I'm going to be doing some things. Of course, I'll show you later. And here's a tip for you guys. I'm going to get help this time. I need to really dig out some stuff, transplant big bunches of things. All of this digging out work to do is going to require lots of sweat equity and muscle power, and so I'm getting some help. I didn't used to do that. I used to just tough it out myself, but now I've given myself permission to hire somebody that I trust who can help me with all of this. And then pretty soon, a lot of you have asked, the light is really bright today, you guys. But a lot of you have asked about my topiaries and bringing them inside. So let me just tell you that before I do so, I will spray them very, very well, not once, but a couple of times with insecticidal soap and neem oil before I bring them in. Some of these will go into my friend's greenhouse. Some of them will go into my office studio in the back. That kind of remains to be seen. And so I'll just kind of play with these. But I'm actually, this year, I'm looking forward to winter more than I ever have before, because it's been such a chaotic year that I'm ready to kind of put it to rest, get my bulbs in. And if you want to know when to plant your bulbs, in my Zone 7 garden, I plant them about the week before Thanksgiving. Right now, definitely, the ground temperatures and the air temperatures are not cool enough to go ahead and put them in the ground. But if you haven't ordered, you need to go ahead and order them and be thinking about your strategy for what you want to do. So that's kind of, this is just like a short walkabout. I've got some people working here today because now's the time of year when I like to get things kind of touched up and the house looking good before I go in and sit in front of my fireplace in the fall and in the winter. So there is a little potager walkabout for you guys, and I will be talking to you. Oh, one last thing. Stuart and I have something really fun for you on Friday. I came across some discs, some old CDs of lots of Channel 4 For Your Garden episodes that I did with Linda Kavanaugh over the years. This goes way back. Linda's a good friend of mine. She's already retired, but these go way back. And it's fun, I think, to look at them and see what the garden looked like then, how my gardening has evolved since then, what things I have learned since then, and I think it will be a really fun flashback to accompany some of the flashback photos that I've been putting up in the community tab for you guys that are YouTube members of this channel, not just subscribers, but members. So there's been some flashbacks to me with really bad hairdos and what my garden looked like in the past. Stuart was saying that the way my kitchen used to look didn't even resemble my style or anything right now. So that is going to be really fun. Stay tuned for a Flashback Friday. Well, here is your fashion epilogue for this Wednesday. My sunglasses, honestly, I can't remember where I got them, I think I got them someplace in Colorado, but these are one of my favorite pair of statement sunglasses, I think. My top, this is actually new. Excuse me, I just got this from H&M. I never really got into all of the athleisure attire that was so predominant last winter during the COVID winter. I never really got into it, but now I'm getting into it. And I love sweatshirt weather. It's probably my favorite kind of weather because it's finally cooled down here. So it's cool enough to be able to wear a light sweatshirt. And I like it just because it's kind of a basic taupe color. My breeches are Calvin Klein's. Nothing, what's the expression? Nothing comes between me and my Calvin Klein's except maybe the thrift store, because this is where I got these jeans. I don't know how long ago. I like them because they're kind of stretchy. And my shoes, my booties, came from Forever 21 years ago. I actually love these. Not a lot of their shoes are comfortable, but these really are. So, and my earrings. How could I not tell you about my earrings? These are from Orchard Jewelry, the designer Janet Mavick, and I will put a link below. These are called Mille Fleur. These are part new to her line. I love all of her jewelry, and I'll be doing a bunch of stuff on Instagram for her. She's going to be my part of my Christmas list. I have known her forever and ever and ever, and I have so many of her pieces, so I'll make sure that I share that information with you. So there you go. There's your fashion epilogue for today.